Hello, hello again, and welcome to Otaku-Verse Zero. I'm Patrick Macias.
And I'm Yu Asakawa.
And this is our show about anime, manga, games, Japanese pop culture craziness, and otaku stuff designed for otaku all over the universe. All over the universe. That's why it's called Otaku-Verse Zero. And you, I have some emails for you and some questions. Okay, so are you prepared? You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Okay, this comes from Jun, and Jun says, I'm a big fan of the seiyuu industry, the voice actress industry, or actor. And seeing you in your show is something of a rare privilege. And I can't help but to wonder, will you guys feature, or will you have a seiyuu episode anytime soon? What do you know about that?
Do we have any plan?
Well, there's actually, I do know the answer to this one. I know it's a question for you, kind of, but K-Station, the company that produces this show, has a lot of connections to voice actors, including you. That's how they got you for this show, right?
Okay, how about Miyu Matsuki?
Miyu Matsuki
She is a very, very famous, beautiful voice actress.
Famous, beautiful
in
voice
Japan.
actress. She sounds like a very wonderful person.
We had was guests before, so now how about voice actor? Voice actress.
Okay, we've gotten one request for it. We have a whole list here of voice actors who've done work for K-Station, including a young up-and-comer called Yu Asakawa here. And so, yeah, it's entirely possible that we'll do one someday for you, June, and for everyone else. And please send your emails over and over again begging for Matsuki Miyu. We want to get Matsuki Miyu on this show really bad.
She has her own program in K-Station.
Yeah, she's already doing a show for K-Station, so it's simply a matter of just getting everyone in the same space together and hoping that, you know, the room doesn't explode with excitement or something like that. Okay, question number 2 from Timothy.
Thank you.
Dear guys, I love the show and hope for a long run. So do we. Okay, I'm wondering, when will you start traveling with Patrick to events?
When?
Yeah.
When?
Yeah.
When?
Please, tell me. It's up to you.
Okay.
Okay.
May.
In May. Okay, this is a prediction? This is like Daiogen?
May 2011.
May 2011.
We will go to Hokkaido.
We're going to go to Hokkaido in May 2011.
Now I've decided.
Okay, we've made up our minds. I guess we should probably start getting things rolling in the motion towards today's segment. And one thing that is pretty strong in Japan is this kind of culture of novelties, of omake, of little toy surprises that you get with your candy as a little kid. Glico caramel, does this name ring a bell? Glico?
Glico, chocolate balls?
Caramels, chocolate balls. Well, like, did you ever eat candy that had a little toy surprise inside of it? Did you do this a lot? Did you go to the dentist and he said stop eating that stuff or anything?
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
Oh.
Okay.
I think I bought some Greek caramels when I was a child.
Did you collect like any
Yes,
crazy
there's
little
a small box on the box, and inside of that small box there was a small piece of something.
A small piece of something, like a rabbit or a car or like a clock or something. Okay. Okay. Well, those are called omake, which means what? Present, gift, like the toy surprise in the Cracker Jack box. And we found a place called the Novelty Museum in Ginza that's an entire museum devoted to these kinds of weird promotional giveaway items. So here's our exciting report on the Novelty Museum. So let's check it out right now. Okay, we're here in the Ginza, which is one of the richest, most exclusive parts of town in Tokyo. And there's a lot of money here, but right now we're going to a place nearby that's filled with junk, with stuff that people throw away, with stuff that most people consider to be garbage. But it's all good to me, so let's go check it out. So here we are inside the recently opened Novelty Museum, which is partially the brainchild of an economic journalist named Morinaga Takaro, who sees the value in kind of documenting and collecting kind of weird odds and ends, premiums, novelties, giveaways, throwaways that most people take for granted. I think the exhibit starts here with my robot-operated buddy. Let's see if I can feel him out here. Okay. A packet of tissue that I will treasure always. And who knows, maybe one day it'll end up in a display case like this, which is chock full of advertising tissue packets that I guess Japan is littered with in one form or another. Moving on down the line. This is interesting. I guess Shonen Club magazine, boys magazines from the early 30s, kind of would come with a supplement where you could build your own gosh darn battleship. This is a reproduction, but this appears to be an original Empire State Building that kids made for fun there in, I think, 1932. I imagine it must have been pristine white back then, but it's gone a little yellow with age. But that's okay. Here we have a display case filled with some really, really well-known and memorable Japanese advertising characters that I guess in some ways really were kind of the public faces of the companies that sort of helped build the Japanese economy after the war. We have Kewpie from Kewpie Mayonnaise here. We've got Peko-chan from Milky, and an assortment of fun stuff here from Mr. Donuts. Not everything here is made in Japan. Here's a selection of advertising characters from America that you might know and love, like the Hawaiian Punch Kid, Kool-Aid Man, the Icy Bear, my cereal buddies, like the Rice Krispie guys, Toucan Sam, the Michelin Man. And it's from this point on that things start to enter the junk level. Things people really, really might not expect to see in a museum kind of context, like the lids of coffee creamer that you peel off. But it looks like there were some really interesting ones here in Japan. These are some sumo wrestling holds and throws, flags of the world, and Peanuts characters, various kinds of flowers. Okay. Here we have a whole display case filled with bottle caps, bottle lids, twist-offs, and so on. Here's a selection of really cool Star Wars bottle caps from 1978 when the movie was released in Japan. Japanese kids went crazy trying to collect them all. Here we're looking at a collection of cola bottle caps from the 1970s from around the world. There's one from Austria. The USA, of course, Italy, and I feel really bad for this one from Brazil, but that's the way it goes. Selection of paper drink coasters from various locations around Japan. There's one for the at-home maid cafe in Akihabara. That's always a fun place to go to. And this must have been a really, really wild place. I doubt if it's still around. The Club Fuji Topless. Ask for it by name. These are really cool too. Souvenir matchbooks. Looks like a place called Shinjuku Dracula, where the matches double as the teeth of the skull. That is probably the most awesome matchbook I've ever seen in my life. Although the bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken with the writing in Japanese is pretty cool too. And this is pretty exciting too. This is kind of the graveyard of old sodas. Some of these, of course, you'll still recognize, like Pepsi, Fanta, but some of these are just really, really way off the radar. Some of these Japanese ones, like Fine Up. Okay, there's High People, Fancy Soda, and I'll leave you to make your own jokes about Refreshing Taste Scat. And we've got some souvenir Pepsi bottles down here, including one, the Michael Jackson Arigato souvenir bottle. Well, here we are, the nerve center of the collection at the Novelty Museum. It's the personal collection of Morinaga-san. And right away, I'm kind of taken by this collection of rare Pepsi Man bottle caps. We didn't really have Pepsi Man in America, so I've always been kind of fascinated by him. There's Pepsi Man hiding behind a giant piece of pizza, poking out between some French fries, emerging from a shark's mouth, and some fun ones there where a witch is boiling him alive in a vat, and it looks like the Grim Reaper has locked him up. And maybe the very best thing in this display case is Pepsi Man being slapped by a hot blonde. Then over here, we've got some of the really, really super rare items in Morinaga's collection. These include his own personal gyudon bowl, his own personal beef bowl given to him by Yoshinoya. And there's a picture of him grinning like the happiest man in the world, which I presume he was. Very rare item there, only one in the entire world. And here is a set of Yahoo gyudon beef bowls. It looks like there were only 10 of these made in the world. So I know you're impressed. I sure am. Another big part of the collection here is the showcase filled with souvenir giveaways from Glico Caramel, which was, I guess, been around since the 20s here in Japan, when they used to give away little paper prizes in the boxes of caramels. But eventually, during the 30s, it moved to wooden toys, kind of like the old prize in the Cracker Jack box. It looks like production ceased during the war years, but came back in 1949 with little wooden clocks and owls and post office boxes and kind of nice little post-war things that you'd need around the house. And looks like the biggest prize of all came in the 50s with this giant battleship, which was a premium. You had to collect multiple boxes of Glico Caramel and then send that in, and hopefully you'd get the big battleship in the mail. And I guess during the 70s and 80s, they switched to making goods in plastic, which I guess could have been fun for doing clear shapes, seeing the insides of ducks and beetles and stuff like that. But eventually, Glico figured out that they wanted to go back to doing things in wood again. Kids needed to touch wood instead of plastic, probably just a good move overall for the company image. So these are some of the latest Glico giveaways that you find inside the boxes. So here we have a display case filled with all kinds of character figures. I guess things start with these super deformed kaiju, Ultraman monsters, and heroes. And it looks like we've got some Crayon Shin-chan, some characters from Dr. Slump, Bakaban. And going further down, it gets into the more kind of advertising character kind of stuff. And everything's just so happy. Everyone's just kind of grinning at you and waving and stuff like that. And it makes you just feel really good to have this kind of stuff around. It just, to me, seems like the roots of kind of kawaii culture that people talk a lot about now from Japan. Character mascots and goods and stuff like that. So it all kind of starts here. So please visit the Novelty Museum and check out the history of this sort of thing. One thing that really amazed me about that museum is at first I was just seeing kind of the characters and toys that I see at other places, maybe like Nakano Broadway or, you know, just toy shops. But then there's a deeper layer of just stuff that's like junk, of stuff that you don't expect to see in a museum. And some of the things they had there were on display behind the windows were barf bags. You know, like when you take a bad airplane flight and your stomach starts to feel very raunchy. They had lined up bags, which is pretty hardcore. Have you ever thought about saving one of those and filing it away for a collection or something like that? Banana seals, the stickers that come on the sides of bananas, they had a whole, like, you know, a whole tray filled with them. So if you have any junk, you may want to make a donation to the Novelty Museum. I'm sure they'll be happy to accept things tax-free. So do you have anything you'd like to donate to the Novelty Museum?
Or why didn't you bring something from US to
I'm thinking about that next time. Yeah, maybe like
you can find something rare.
Yeah, gosh. I think it's actually maybe time to close the show here. Otaku-Verse Zero. I know. It's so sad, but it's time to go. And so now's the part where we ask you to do what you do so well, which is tell everyone the email address to send their questions, comments, requests, and so forth and so on. So hit it. Okay.
OVZ@KZSTA. 間違えた.
You got it wrong. Okay.
More.
Okay, one more time. Okay, so don't send your email to that address because something bad will happen.
OVZ@KZStation.
Am I making you laugh? Okay, I'll stop. All right, I'll be professional.
OVZ@KZStation.com.
Okay, you heard it from her, not me. Okay, thanks. We'll see you next week. Otaku-Verse Zero.
Sorry.
Maybe the third time will be the charm. Okay, we'll see ya. Thanks for watching.